At a glittering charity gala filled with billionaires, flashing cameras, and whispers of power, one moment shattered the illusion of civility. A single careless act, a glass of red wine spilling across an immaculate black suit, would ignite a chain of events that no one in that ballroom could have imagined. The man standing drenched wasn't just another guest. He was the architect behind a multi-billion-dollar empire. Within hours, the balance of power in that golden room would shift forever. What began as a moment of arrogance would end as a masterclass in quiet retribution, where dignity proved more powerful than wealth or privilege. The ballroom glittered beneath crystal chandeliers, alive with laughter, champagne, and the scent of expensive perfume. It was an evening meant to celebrate philanthropy, though everyone knew it was really about visibility and influence. The attendees weren't just donors. They were titans. Politicians, investors, CEOs, and social elites, all mingling for the next opportunity. Among them stood Daniel Adebayo, founder of Auris Global, a tech company revolutionizing green infrastructure. His calm confidence and understated presence often drew more attention than any loud display of wealth. He'd built his company from the ground up, championing diversity and sustainability, earning respect across industries. But tonight, beneath the polished surface of high society, prejudice still lurked. Some saw him not as an equal, but as an outsider who had somehow infiltrated their world. The smiles were polite, too polite, masking subtle condescension. Daniel had attended the gala to finalize a partnership worth over $2 billion, a project that would redefine the renewable energy landscape. The contract rested on mutual respect, or so he thought. Across the room, the hosts of the evening, the Whitmore family, basked in their social supremacy. Their fortune stretched generations deep, their arrogance deeper still. As the orchestra played and photographers circled, an unspoken tension simmered beneath the glitter. Before the night ended, every eye in that room would see which kind of power truly endures: inherited privilege or earned respect. The night unfolded in shimmering waves of conversation and performance. Speeches praised progress and generosity, but few meant what they said. Daniel listened, smiling politely, though his focus remained on the coming deal with the Whitmore conglomerate, a partnership that could expand his company's sustainable energy initiative into 20 new cities. When the introductions were made, he greeted Henry Whitmore, the family patriarch, with professional warmth. But it was Henry's wife, Veronica, who carried herself like royalty. Adorned in diamonds and entitlement, she radiated the kind of confidence that came not from achievement, but from generations of insulation from consequence. Throughout the evening, Veronica's eyes lingered on Daniel, appraising, judging, perhaps threatened by a man who represented progress. Her circle resisted. She smiled thinly, offered compliments that felt sharp beneath their sweetness. When photographers requested a photo of the key investors, Daniel stepped forward beside her. That's when it happened. A server passed behind them with a tray of drinks. Veronica, distracted, turned abruptly, her glass tipping, crimson wine cascading down Daniel's tailored suit and onto his shirt. Gasps rippled through the crowd. For a second, time froze. The expression on Veronica's face wasn't horror. It was something colder. A smirk of superiority flickered before she masked it with feigned apology. The humiliation was public, the silence heavy. Daniel didn't react. He simply nodded, excused himself, and walked away, calm, composed, unreadable. But what most didn't know was that Daniel had already been reconsidering the deal. He'd seen subtle red flags in Whitmore's business ethics: environmental shortcuts, mistreatment of smaller partners. This moment didn't anger him. It clarified everything. As the whispers spread through the ballroom, Daniel left quietly. That single act, his silence, would soon echo louder than any outburst. The deal documents that had been prepared for signature the next morning would never be signed. And within 24 hours, the Whitmore empire would face consequences it couldn't buy its way out of. The following day, the Whitmore's headquarters buzzed with anticipation. Reporters had already covered the incident at the gala, though none dared call it what it was. Daniel's company had not responded publicly, maintaining professionalism. But inside boardrooms across the city, a different conversation unfolded. Without warning, Oris Global announced a new strategic partnership, not with the Whitmores but with their direct competitors. The deal was monumental: $2 billion in joint investment, global expansion, and a sustainability initiative that would reshape an entire industry. The announcement hit the markets like lightning. Whitmore Industries' stock plummeted within hours. Investors fled, partnerships evaporated, and the press began dissecting the family's history of exclusion and outdated practices. What had been whispered in corridors now filled headlines. Veronica's moment of arrogance became symbolic, not because of the act itself, but because it revealed a deeper truth. The world was changing. Power built on prejudice was crumbling beneath the weight of accountability. Daniel remained silent through it all. No interviews, no statements, no retaliation. His actions spoke with precision and grace. Those who witnessed the gala now saw the contrast. Where the Whitmores had displayed entitlement, Daniel embodied dignity. In the silence after the storm, it became clear the wine stain that had once symbolized embarrassment had transformed into a mark of justice. Weeks later, the same ballroom hosted another event, a fundraiser for clean energy, this time sponsored by Oris Global. The atmosphere was different now. The same society pages that once glorified the Whitmores now celebrated Daniel's leadership and integrity. He arrived not as a guest seeking approval, but as a figure whose quiet strength had reshaped the narrative. Behind every applause and every handshake was acknowledgement, unspoken but real. As the evening closed, Daniel stepped onto the terrace, watching the city lights shimmer below. The journey had never been about revenge. It had been about truth, proving that dignity carries more power than status ever could. The story of that spilled glass had traveled far beyond that ballroom. It had become a modern parable, a reminder that arrogance and prejudice are relics of a fading world. The true measure of greatness isn't in titles or fortunes, but in how one responds when dignity is tested. Some would call what happened karma, others justice. But Daniel knew it was something simpler. The universe correcting itself, one quiet decision at a time, and perhaps, somewhere, the Whitmores finally understood what billions could never buy: respect. Every generation witnesses moments when silence speaks louder than confrontation. This story isn't about revenge, it's about resilience, integrity, and the quiet strength that rewrites history.